Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is The Curse of Nineveh. It was written by Mike Mason, Mark Latham, Scott Dorward, and Paul Fricker, and it's available from the Chaosium website. I'm the GM, and this is episode 29. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. All right, guys, you've just been reading the newspaper and sitting around and trying to figure out what to do next. What would you like to do? It's still early in the day.
So it seems rather coincidence that there should be this ghastly triple murder in the same neighborhood that our new friend Mr. Montfort hails from. Given that he's at Charing Cross Hospital, having had much of his innards torn out, I don't suspect that he's responsible for the murder, but I wonder if he is related to it in some way. When you went to see him, you were not admitted. I wonder if we can come up with an excuse as to why we shouldn't be allowed to talk to the poor fellow, other than, you know, he approached us at the front of the British Museum.
Well,
a confused state.
is the room guarded? I mean, in a busy hospital, all we have to do is find out what room he's in. We could just walk in casually like we belong there. I mean, unless he's guarded.
You could be extended family, cousins, his wife's brother, anything.
Well, I mean, there's going to be injured people in there that the doctors are paying attention to. They're not going to be paying attention to us as long as we don't go in as a group of all of us. You know, if one or two of us go in, they're not going to question it. If you act like you belong there, the trick is you got to find out what room he's in.
We could probably make a simple phone call and find that out.
Yes, I'd like to send flowers. What room is he in?
Yep.
This is the advantage of being a white man in means in a civilization that prefers white men of means. No one's likely to ask too many questions.
Now, are we going to also go investigate the murders?
Well, since they're in his neighborhood, it seems like we might find out what he knows before we go
Right.
across the bridge. But yes, I think it is not coincidence that Fuller should find that item in the newspaper first thing today.
I agree with that.
So I'm going to ask Sykes for the phone and call the hospital and see if I can get a room number.
All right. Here you go, sir.
Thank you, Sykes, as always. French toast is magnificent today.
Of course, sir. Thank you.
Charing Cross Hospital, dingy din.
Cross Hospital.
Good morning. I've heard about a friend of mine who's been injured and is in hospital, Mr. Thomas Montfort. I'd like to send him flowers. What room number is he in?
Oh, just a moment. Mr. Montfort is in room 207.
207. Thank you very kindly. Good day. Like a ninja.
What's that?
So I think Fuller makes a point that the five of us traipsing in might seem unusual. I think, Jane, you should probably go because a lady is always sympathetic.
You know, there's another way we could do it if you think we could have any problem. Delivery man's uniform. Walk in with a bunch of flowers. You already called them and told them you were going to bring flowers to the room, send flowers to the room. They got to get there somehow.
Yeah,
Expect me to dress up like a delivery person. Could have.
you don't even need the uniform, just the flowers.
I think flowers are in order regardless. It's a pity we can't bring him a kitten. What with his being a friend of Mr. Wayne and all.
And I don't think there'll be trouble because they would have finished them off already if they wanted, you know?
And when you went to the hospital, you know, they didn't say, oh, it's, you know, we're not going to be able to save him. His injuries were too grievous. But he's not going to be out. He'll not have been released. I mean, we saw his intestines. I wonder if he'll
Be
be
in the hospital
conscious.
for at least a few months.
If an infection doesn't get him.
Yes.
So Jane, I'll go if you'd like company, or unless somebody else is eager.
I would rather stay back because I might get recognized. I am, after all, getting in through a discussion through his lady friend, as it were.
And
it'd be probably best if I'm not seen.
And for the record, we know he's still there because he gave us the room number.
Right. He's neither dead nor departed in the other way. All right. So who wants to go with me? If Jane doesn't,
I'll go.
All right. Do you other folk feel like heading straight down to Croydon, or shall we postpone that? I'd be curious to see if there are any other crimes in Croydon that we hadn't noticed because we were looking out for them as well. I wonder if the the Wentworth doesn't keep back newspapers. I think that should be a trip to the library.
Well, we can do this however you want, but
Couple of days.
I would make the suggestion that we try not to split the party up any more than we have to, because we already know that someone's out for the horn and they know we have it, and people are dying left and right. Not us, but people.
Well, one of us. So, yes, I take your point.
I would also suggest. I'm just going to say,
we do need to.
Go ahead.
Sorry. In that case, perhaps if we all do go as a group to the hospital, I shall stay outside to keep an eye on things, and if any ne'er-do-wells seem to be lurking about.
Oh, yes. So we can't all walk into the hospital. That would catch people's attention.
Yes, I think 5 people is conspicuous. There's probably something like a cafeteria or something in the place, a commissary, so we can park some of us down there. All right, let's do that.
I would also suggest that we start packing. Gun.
Oh, I see.
But to move to someplace else.
Yes.
I don't know what the word would have been.
You're reading those American dime store novels again, Mr. Albright. You were telling me about those earlier.
Yes, we'll all just move to Tennessee, and Nineveh will bother us no further.
Yes, and you're going to go visit a guy who, what happened to him now?
Right. Well, I have got the pistol that was it Felix or Cyrus? I think Cyrus gave me a pistol.
Yeah, I'd say 1912 Mauser.
The Germans are very good at certain things, I find. Yes. So I've been carrying that. But yes, I take your point. We are in danger, and things are only getting more erratic. I wonder how the exploration of the tunnel underneath the museum is going. I'd like to know where that leads.
That was just last night, wasn't it?
That we found out.
Night before. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, right. The night before, and then in the morning we saw Montfort.
We'll have to check on that later.
Yeah. All right. Should we? Is the library on the way to the hospital, or should we go directly there? Is the Charlton wagon warm and ready?
Before we leave, tell Sykes, instead of throwing out the old newspapers, if you could just toss them into our room, so we have, after the next couple of weeks, a month's supply of papers there, and we'll dispose of them.
As you wish, sir.
Thank you. It seems we're always looking for an old newspaper if we just have them handy.
All right. So you're going to the library first? Is that what I understood? The British Library? Okay.
We're going just to get newspapers, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we just want to see what's happened at Croydon. I wonder if we can call a newspaper, actually. and ask for the Croydon desk or something. I have no idea how that would operate. But it seems like it would be a lot simpler than, I mean, there's not a catalog or anything. We'd just be flipping through the time.
I'm not sure that they have
office in Croydon.
possibly, but I'm not sure that they have somebody to sit on the phone and talk to people and tell them what's in the newspaper. And you can read it.
Reginald, why don't you just call the clipping service, tell them to look the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks in, I forgot the name of the town, for any murders, strange crimes, and then we'll follow up with them in a day or two. And by that time, hopefully we've investigated the hospital and the crime scene.
Croydon.
Or we could just grab a bunch of newspapers and I'll run them out to the car.
What does the idea of a clipping service do for you, Keeper?
You tell them that you want any information out of Croydon. Oh, I'm sorry. You know how it works.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. Let's do that. I think a whole trip to the library just to sift through old newspapers seems silly. So it's off to the hospital with us.
All right. So you arrive at the Jenny Cross Hospital. And who's going? It was just Cyrus and.
I think everybody was going. They said we were taking my car.
Oh, that's right.
We're staying outside. They're going in.
I'm staying in the car.
All right. So you get there, and just Reginald then and Cyrus are going inside.
Picked up some flowers on the way.
All right. There's a nurse behind the desk. Oh, yes, can I help you?
Good morning. This is my friend Cyrus. I'm Mr. Montfort's brother-in-law. I understand he's been admitted into room 207.
Oh, yes. And she sees the flowers in your hand, and she says, you can go up. The lift is over here.
Very good. Thank you. So we go down the hall, find 207. Is he?
She probably wants you to sign in.
That's fair.
That would be standard.
That's fair. So in what condition do we find our friend?
All right. So you get there, and the room is kind of set up as, I guess, what you'd call intensive care. He was obviously extremely damaged. He is wrapped in bandages. And at the moment, he seems to be asleep, breathing heavily, kind of wheezing as he's breathing. He was cut up pretty bad and probably moaning a little bit in his sleep. What do you want to do?
I wonder if they had a morphine drip at that point. That was evolved.
I think just needle. I don't know about the drip.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would just jab you.
Yeah. They've probably given him something for the pain.
Is he in a ward with others, or is he in a private room?
We'll say he's in a private room. He's got enough money.
I assume there are guest chairs. Cyrus, I suggest that we at least give him a half an hour to see if he comes to himself, given what he's been through. I don't want to startle him into consciousness.
Do a luck roll.
Well, if they doped him up, he could be out the whole day.
Well, I rolled a 91, so he may be out all day.
All right.
Leaving these guys unattained outside, who knows what they can get into.
So you're sitting there for a few minutes, and a nurse comes in, and she says, "Oh, I didn't realize you were in here. Of your family?"
Yes, he's my brother-in-law.
Ah, yes. Mr. Montfort. Mr. Montfort was seriously injured. We're not quite sure. He was slashed across the abdomen with a knife, a number of knives, maybe, multiple times.
Yes, he seemed to be in a state of confusion of some kind as well.
Yes, he's been mumbling quite a bit, but he's not delirious any longer.
Has he said anything that we should report to the authorities? Something about who attacked him or anything?
He said nothing so far.
Just rambling nonsensically.
He's been asleep for quite some time. He could wake up. I see you have some flowers. Should I put those in a vase for you?
I'd be very appreciative. Thank you.
So
Do you
she
think
takes
it's
those and
foolish to wait?
Wait as long as you want. She takes the flowers and she leaves. And Cyrus, you do a luck roll.
I was just gonna poke him. Hey, I'm not. Yeah.
Well, if you want to do that,
I want to wait till the nurse comes back, so she opens her eyes. He opens his eyes. He doesn't ask who the hell we are. So after she comes back with the flowers and leaves, I'm just gonna kind of poke his toe, his foot.
Okay.
Not brutally, just hey, buddy.
All right,
hey.
then do a luck roll with a bonus dice.
First one is 48. Second is 28. So yes.
Okay. So you poke his foot, and he reacts by wiggling his foot a little, and he's like, "Oh, who's?" And he looks up at you, and he's like, "Who are you?"
We're here to help you. And then I just take a step back and let Reginald.
You don't look much like a doctor.
No, Mr. Montfort, we actually met you yesterday when you were unwell. You were looking for a Mr. Wayne,
Yes,
who happens to be a friend of ours.
Mr. Wayne is an artist.
Yes, the cats.
Yes. He's a very famous artist.
You were so badly injured that you were uncertain about your location. You thought you were at Bellevue when you were at the British Museum. But we know Mr. Wayne, and I'd like to take any message you have for him to him.
No, it's something I would want to discuss directly with him. You wouldn't understand. You said I was at the British Museum.
Indeed, sir. And you had been terribly injured. Were you attacked on the train?
Oh, no.
Who or what assaulted you, if you don't mind my asking?
You wouldn't understand. That's what I need.
Well, that's, Mr. Montfort, is what you might not anticipate. Mr. Finley and I, and several of our friends, have seen a great number of things that you wouldn't have expected anyone to believe in the past year. And that's how we came to know Mr. Wayne, and that's why we're concerned about what it is that might have happened to you.
Strange, unearthly things. Trust me.
We've seen shadow beings that can attack people invisible.
You've seen them then.
We fought them.
Oh my God.
And we're prepared to believe anything you tell us.
I thought I was losing my mind.
Nope. We're here to try and put an end to it once and for all, but we need you to come clean. Please tell us what
are you with the police? I don't recognize you.
We're not with the
No.
police.
We're a group of independent gentlemen and one lady that have uncovered things.
Is Miss Lewis okay? Is she all right?
Miss Lewis, we spoke to, and she was concerned to hear about your injuries. But
without doing a spot hidden, you do notice that there is another vase of flowers and a card from Miss Lewis that's there. You didn't really think about it at first, but there it is.
Yes, she's well and you're in her thoughts.
Oh, I hope she doesn't do anything rash.
What might she be prone to do?
You wouldn't understand. See, it's all my fault. I was a detective on the police force, you know. I'm retired. Retired some time ago. And I became involved, my ex-wife now, she told me that I should have a hobby of some sort. And I didn't really know what to do after I retired, so I ended up breeding cats just to see if I could get my hand in at it, and became a member of the Croydon and Sutton Cat Fanciers Club. And Miss Lewis is the head of the Croydon branch. It's not really a branch, it's Croydon Sutton, but it's a branch now. Well, I'm a lonely man, and I rather like Miss Lewis. She's a lovely woman. And, but she has some eccentricities, you see. She's very good friends with Mr. Wayne. I know Mr. Wayne, but she's known Mr. Wayne for many, many years. Collects some of his art. She's working on her special breed, the Abyssinian, the London Abyssinian. She's not having much luck with it. But I can't believe that I'm telling you this. You see, I am in a great deal of trouble now. A man in security such as we have ways of we have ways of overcoming security measures. We know how they work. We know how to get past them. And she wanted it so much, and I so very much wanted to please her in the hopes that she would return my affections. And so I took it from the museum and I gave it to her.
Would this be an opal?
Yes, you know the opal, the cat's eye opal.
I see. That is, in fact, a very grave matter. How did it come to lead to your injuries?
Well, she's had it for some time. She has a very strong rival, you understand, Mr. Church of the Sutton branch. And he's caused a great deal of difficulties for her in her trying to recognize the Abyssinian breed, the London Abyssinian. And they are quite at odds. They've literally torn apart the Croydon Sutton Cat Club. And she believes that he's stolen the opal from her. And I went in an attempt, stupid, foolish attempt, to try to break in and retrieve it. And this is the result.
Who or what actually did it? Was it a shadowy figure?
They were shadows. They were shadows, but they were shadows. I've never seen anything so frightening.
Multiple shadows.
Two. And they looked like warriors, but warriors with lions' heads. And they moved like lightning. They moved through the air. It was all I could do to get out of there, and I'm afraid now that she may have done something.
What could she do in retaliation?
I don't know.
Does she know
There are things going on here that I don't understand at all. That's why I need to talk to Mr. Wayne.
Well, we can relay a message, but he's a little out of it.
Like I said, there's nothing. I wouldn't know what to ask you. I don't know what to ask him, but he would understand it better than I. I think that he can see things that we don't see.
He certainly seems to see things that I don't see. I don't know whether they are things of the world or not.
You said you've seen strange things. I've seen some very strange things that I don't understand.
I think, Mr. Montfort, it's extremely fortunate that you survived that attack. It sounds truly terrifying. And this happened at Mr. Church's home?
Yes.
Do you know, can you give us the address?
It's
I read it down. That's fine. It doesn't.
Yeah, he gives you the address.
We write it down. Why do you think that Ms. Lewis had something to do with those creatures and not Mr. Church?
No, not. She wouldn't do anything like that. I wanted to get it back for her. She loved it so much.
How did she know about this opal?
I don't know. Perhaps Mr. Wayne told her about it. Perhaps she saw it in the museum, but
It wasn't displayed. And how would Wayne know about it?
I don't know. It wasn't that hard to get a hold of. It wasn't on display at the time. But I knew exactly what to look for by her description of it.
It's said to be a very striking piece.
It's very large, you know.
I don't. How large is it?
Almost 7 inches across.
Good heavens, yes. And you feel certain that it was taken from Ms. Lewis?
Yes, she doesn't have it any longer.
But you only speculate that Church took it.
Church is her biggest rival.
Well,
And
Reginald, if there were lion-headed ghost warriors, it's obvious that he's involved. So
yeah, I think so.
Why you sound so sad?
I wonder if we need to take the Catman out on a little field trip. Not you, meaning
Louis, yeah, Louis. I'd be curious to see whether they would permit him to. I think he's paying for his treatment, and so he might be under his own recognizance. Well, Mr. Montfort, first of all, I assure you that we, again, there are a few gentlemen and a lady that have been involved in this.
You must make sure that she is safe.
And we'll do everything we can to ensure Ms. Lewis's safety.
Reginald, should we give him the number to the club, and in case he recalls anything, he can leave a message?
I think that's a capital idea, Cyrus.
And next time you want to impress a woman, grab a book of poetry and a bottle of red wine. Don't go stealing opals.
We all do foolish things. I'll have to pay for my crimes now. That must have been why I was going to the museum, to own up to my... I planned on going to the hospital first, you know.
Listen, let's just let sleeping dogs lie. Don't go reporting yourself to anybody. You've suffered your wounds. Heal yourself up and go back to your normal life. We're good. We'll take care of this, all right? No need to inform the police. No need to inform anybody. You'll just incriminate yourself and get her in trouble because she was in possession of it.
You say that you've seen strange things. I can't tell you the danger that you're walking into.
We've already had one of our friends perish because of this. We know. Just heal yourself up, get back on your feet, start reading some poetry, and take it slow.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. When you, before we go, when you were at Church's home, you saw no sign of Church, just these ghostly figures?
Yes. I didn't see them at first until they attacked me.
Yes, well, again, I think it's remarkable that you survived those circumstances, and I'm glad that you're lucid, and I think if you stay here and under good care, that we'll be able to tell you how things came out in the end. Cyrus?
I'm good. You want a little nip before I go? A little whiskey?
You're going to give a guy on drugs whiskey.
It's good for you.
It's medicinal.
No, thank you. No.
Okay. I'll have some. I put it back in my coat.
The nurse comes and says, "You can't have that in here." What?
Yes, and as we said, if anything should come to mind, or if you simply want to check in, we can be reached through the Wentworth Club at that number.
Mr. Wayne might know more.
He might indeed. He's a man of strange and subtle depths. We'll speak to him and send him your regards.
Get some rest.
All right, let's jump back out to the car for a moment. Felix and Fuller and Jane, you're sitting in the car. What are you doing?
Smell like a cop.
What was that?
She heard me.
I can assure you,
like a cop.
I'm not of the constabulary.
I still don't trust you.
Can I be honest with you, Mr. Matthews?
No, women are not honest.
Very well, then.
We've
Can I be
established
dishonest
that
with
through
you, then?
history. Sure.
All right, to be dishonest. As I've told you before, I've been involved in amateur investigations. My amateur investigations have become a little bit more professional. It's still not my main profession. However, it's something I do to the side to pay the bills. The fashion industry has been rather lacking recently, and I've incurred many debts. So I have to take jobs where I can find them. And I've taken a few jobs recently, and this has come as consequence. So if you're concerned with my inquisitive nature, it's because it's become my job as of recent.
Trying to find out.
What would you like to know?
Me? You looking at Cyrus? Who are you looking at?
Looking at you.
As an investigation, you're investigating me?
No, I'm not investigating you, nor do I wish to. I'm in this to solve this business with this cursed Nineveh thing, if you could call it as such. I have no intention of investigating you, sir. Your business is your business, and I see that your business is quite important to you, and I do not wish to upset it. That we got enough of upsetting things going on as of now.
You use a lot of extra words. That makes me think that maybe you're trying to cover something up.
No, I use a lot of extra words because I come from a background that has me talk rather fancy. Fashion industry, you must talk fancy while you're there to get your point across. Embellish things, as it were.
As you guys are talking, Fuller gets up and gets out of the car. Starts to walk towards he doesn't look like he's walking towards the door of the hospital, but just like a little area next to it where there's some bushes and some, like a wall.
What is Mr. Albright up to there?
The two of you do spot hiddens.
Yeah, he walks over to a bush and a wall. He's going to relieve himself.
On the hospital steps.
Well, possibly. But he's on the hospital steps. Why would he be out in the open?
Because it's...
Gotta go.
Did you pass, Felix?
No, I failed.
Okay. You guys don't see what he seems to be going intently towards something. But you can't see what it is.
I'll just roll down the window and say, "What are you doing?"
Am I even close enough to really?
You can hear him behind. You're maybe
seconds.
20 feet away, so,
Okay.
but you can hear him behind you.
Just ignore it.
All right. So what are you going to do, Fuller? They seem to just sort of be sunning themselves on the wall.
Sorry about that. I'm clicking on the link. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see if there's more over there, if they're trying to get into the building. Look at where they're looking. Are they looking in a specific direction?
They're just sitting on the wall, sunning themselves, looking like they're ignoring everything that's going on.
Albright, up to there.
Walk around a little bit over in that area. I'm wondering if I can find more.
Okay. You don't see any more. As he starts walking around, you can see that there are a couple of cats lying on the wall next to the steps of the hospital. He seemed to walk towards him, and now he's turned directions and he's walking around, looking at under bushes. And
what kind of cats are they? Are they just typical
stray cats? Tabby and a
tabbies.
Regular old cats. About this time, Cyrus and Reginald come walking out, and you notice that the cats pay attention to them when they walk out the door. They turn their heads. They still act completely like cats. They look and they watch they sort of follow Reginald and Cyrus as they walk towards the car. Fuller is still out.
Are they following me with their eyes?
Not really.
Well, Jane, Felix, the good bad news is that we have a line on the Opal. Where's Fuller?
Yeah, we're looking at a bunch of cats.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes. Did they do something?
I don't know. I was about to go out and have a look myself.
Well, our friend Montfort had the cat's eye opal. He stole it from the museum as a gift for his cat lady, Miss Lewis, from whom it was apparently stolen in turn. And the thing that tore his guts open, things, how would you describe them, Cyrus? He described them as warriors with lions' heads?
Yep, lion-headed ghost warriors.
Ghost warriors. So yes, cats are not auspicious at the moment. Where did he? Was he talking to the cats? Was he? Oh, I see those.
That
And they're
lady
looking at us still.
No, they're now looking completely indifferent.
was a cat breeder. It's a cat's eye opal. Maybe they can control them. That's, I don't know, whatever. This whole thing is getting me a little crazy too.
Hold it. Idea. Just an idea, just a thought. Cat's eye opal, the eye of the cat. Maybe they can have cats act as some kind of a monitor for them, or some kind of seer.
I wouldn't put anything past discussion lately after seeing what we have. And if they can, we need to avoid cats now too. This is just...
Did I notice those cats watching them intently as they came out?
Not intently, more like they looked at them, they watched them go, and then they went back to being completely indifferent.
And there's no other cats around. They're just these
Yeah.
two oddball cats.
And you assume, I guess, intrinsically, you assume they're strays because why the heck would they just be out here in public?
I'm gonna go grab one of those cats. Give me one of those cats.
Okay. So you're getting out of the car and you're heading towards the cat?
Yep. I want to.
Describe exactly what you're doing.
Well, I'm walking up nicely to the cat so that it doesn't run away.
Okay. Do a luck roll.
Come here, you lucky cat. 4. Oh, shit. 54 on 53. Nope.
Oh, that was your luck roll.
Yep.
All right. You get up almost within reaching distance, and the cat just suddenly reacts like a stray cat and runs off. The other one goes with him. They dive off the other side of the wall and disappear into the bushes.
Hmm.
Yep, they're cats. I'll go back to the car.
Another
Did you find Fuller?
Fuller's looking under bushes around the corner. Fuller, you're not finding anything.
I just go back to the car then.
All right. As you're walking back to the car, you see the two cats skittering under the bushes running away.
Do they have collars on?
No.
Stray cats.
It is slightly Fuller, and we're going to fill Fuller in, of course, on what we've learned upstairs. And it's slightly concerning to me that there happen to be 2 warriors that attacked him and 2 cats that are outside the hospital. But that city is full of cats, so I'm not going to go mad about that. The question is, he seemed intent on the idea that Wayne would know something. And honestly, when he said that Wayne seems to see things that the rest of us don't, I found that rather compelling. He doesn't seem merely mad, but interestingly mad.
especially since Wayne seems to have a phobia about cats now.
Right. Quite. And we don't know how it happened that Ms. Lewis ceased to be in possession of the opal and this Church fellow got a hold of it. So it's a question for me of whether we visit Church, Lewis, or Wayne first. But all of them need to be sought, and we need to retrieve the opal.
Wayne would be closest. You're not sure about the other two who would be closest.
All right, we have an address for Church, but we don't have an address for Lewis, I don't think, although I'm sure it's searchable.
Call me crazy, but maybe the cat man will help us find the cat's eye.
Actually, you have, well, no, you didn't write down the address of Mrs. Lewis. You know that those letters at the hospital have her address on them.
Right, and she's from Croydon.
I should have grabbed him when I had the chance.
If I'm not mistaken, I've already put my foot in the door with Mrs. Lewis there, with leaving my card.
Oh yeah, you do know where she is because she's been there.
That's true. And that went magnificently, I recall. So off to Bedlam once again. Felix, maybe you'll see your mirror friend.
Reflect on good times.
All right. So you drive on over to Bedlam. Mr. Lewis is once again out in the garden.
I want to definitely look and notice any cats.
You don't see any cats.
Okay, there's probably not any, but I'm just saying is we'll be actively looking for groups of cats now.
Okay. So who's going to go out into the garden where Mr. Lewis is sitting? He's not feeding the ducks at the moment. He's just sitting and looking at the pretty flowers.
Well, I didn't see him last time, so I'll go out.
I'll go with Cyrus.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Anybody else want to come?
Don't want to alarm the fellow.
You've gone silent, Felix, although it doesn't say that you're muted.
No.
Nothing.
Nope.
Lost the sound.
Great.
There you are.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah.
Going into the room. Not sure what happened there, but that's okay.
So what did you say?
Going into the room.
Oh, so you're going to go to Wayne's room?
I'm going to Wayne's room, yes.
All right.
And I'll just
Okay.
enjoy the garden.
All right.
I'll
For
I'll
cats.
stay out front just to see if anybody's coming in looking.
So those of you who go out to speak to Mr. Wayne, you're going to encounter more or less the same sort of stuff as last time. He's extremely pleasant, as long as you're not talking about cats. What would you guys like to say to him? He seems to vaguely remember you.
You will be interested to know that we paid a visit to Mr. Montfort and saw that he is doing well and okay.
Oh, was he injured?
Yes, he was attacked.
How very strange.
He was looking for you.
Yes, you said that the other day. I don't know why. I see that over there. That's a peony. Not in bloom at the moment, but I imagine it will be very, very lovely when it blooms.
Do you know anything about an opal?
An opal?
Yeah, about 7 inches across.
You're talking about the Eye of Lamatsu. It's a large opal in the British Museum. It's quite lovely. Was dedicated, I believe, to the goddess Bast in ancient Egypt. Not sure where it came from.
You know, the funny thing is while my friends went up to visit Mr. Montfort, I was out there in the parking lot, and there was a gathering of cats watching the hospital.
Of course they were. You know why. They're
They're evil.
They're looking, they're controlling us all. And he starts looking under the bushes and around the rose bushes, and you don't see any cats, do you?
Oh, but I'll tell you a secret. I smashed 2 of them.
You smashed them? What do you mean?
Got rid of them so they can't take over us.
That was a very foolish thing for you to do.
Why?
They'll know.
How? Tell me.
I told you, they're not what they appear to be. They're all in communication with one another. They can transmit their thoughts. You've doomed yourself by doing something like that. I would run. I'd run as far away as you can and hope they never find you.
I'm going to go to Hong Kong.
Do they not have cats in Hong Kong?
I don't know. I've never been there.
I would suggest you find a cave somewhere in the mountains and never come back from there. Otherwise, it could be very bad.
What else do you know about this opal? Can it control cats?
It's just a stone. I don't know anything about that. I told you it was dedicated at one time to the goddess Bast.
What do you know about her?
I'm sure you're an educated man. You've read mythologies. You should know all about Bast, the goddess of cats in ancient Egypt.
Just wondering if you knew anything I didn't.
Well, the stone is the Eye of Lamatsu. It's named after her demon form that hunted children in the night, married to the god Pazuzu.
Yep.
So you know that part.
Does Pazuzu hold power over her, or is it the other way around?
Yes, you could say that. Pazuzu is her husband. He holds power over here. They hate each other. She always goes the other way. That's why they put small statues of Pazuzu with their children to keep her at bay.
Interesting.
You should know your mythologies.
Yeah, I do. I just like to refresh my memory. A new set of eyes.
Yes, but speaking of mythology, Bast is a benevolent goddess.
Bast is a benevolent goddess for cats because she's behind it all. She's on their side. She cares nothing for humans.
Reginald, you got anything?
He's looking at flowers.
Yeah, I walk over to him.
He's also muted.
So how does he seem today?
About the
He's
same.
all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Mentioned cats.
Right. Did he know that Miss Lewis had the opal?
He thinks it is still in the possession of the museum.
All right. Well, maybe we can get him off cats and onto opals. I'll walk back with you. These peonies, they're going to bloom very beautifully, though.
Oh yeah. I told him I thought by telling him I smashed up a couple cats, which I didn't, would make him happy. Now he thinks I'm cursed too, so maybe you should talk to him.
Did you say smashed?
Yes, exact words. Because I figured he's afraid of cats. If I was the one that got rid of some cats.
Right, the cat smasher.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about the crows, did you?
No, should I?
I don't think so.
Perhaps we should bring him a kitten.
I think he would scream and run away.
Actually, ask him if he wants to take a trip. A day trip, maybe one day coming up.
Oh, yeah, let's find out about his permissions. All right, and we walk back. Hello again, Mr. Wayne. Pleasure to see you.
I remember you.
It's good to see you. It's nice out here in the garden.
Quite. And he starts talking about the cosmos and the petunias and the stalks and the other kinds of flowers.
Do you enjoy it very much out here? Do you enjoy leaving the institution at all?
Oh,
Do you
no,
ever
no,
go out?
no. It's not safe out there. Here, they make sure that there are no cats. I don't trust them. I make sure that there's also no cats, but out there, they're everywhere.
It's
London's
true.
full of them.
Yes, they're feral and stray. Do the cats never come over the walls here?
Yes, of course they do. They come over the walls and they watch me and they spy on me. And when I see them, I hide in my room and make sure that they can't find me. And I think about nursery rhymes so that they don't read what I'm thinking.
Well, that's very clever. Yes. Do you think that the cats have a reason to be angry at you in particular?
Because I know, because I've seen it, because I've seen what they're up to. That's why they don't want people to know.
So the cats, you saw it, and the cats read your mind and realized that you had their intentions.
Is that how they know? Yes, that must be how they know. They've read my mind. I must think more on Mary. Mary had a little lamb. His fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
And yet you draw them so beautifully. Is
I,
that an attempt to appease them in some way?
No. Not anymore. No.
Well, we need to go and see Ms. Lewis. You remember Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Miss Lewis, lovely woman.
The cat fanciers group?
Yes, she's
Well,
a friend of mine.
we're afraid she's in trouble because of the cats, you see. She had the opal.
Yes.
Did you know that she had the opal?
She mentioned it, yes.
Do you know how Mr. Church got a hold of it?
I don't know.
You know Mr. Church.
I'm not aware that Mr. Church has the opal.
That's what Mr. Montfort thinks.
She doesn't like him very much. He's another old member of the club that he doesn't believe that her London Abyssinian is a true breed, but she's been working on it for quite some time. She has all the documentation. She has all the work done, but...
What's the Abyssinian like then?
So it's very much like a normal Abyssinian without the ticking.
Ticking?
Yes, ticking. You don't know cats. Ticking.
Not to tick, no.
It's
when the clock?
No. It's when the tips of the fur are a different color than the base of the fur. It's called ticking. The London Abyssinian has light-colored inner fur and dark-colored outer fur. It makes them shimmer when they walk.
You are indeed a very learned gentleman regarding these creatures. Do you think there's anything that we should
talk? We shouldn't talk about them. I'm sure they'll hear.
Well, I think we're safe in here, in these walls.
But you'll leave. You won't be safe unless you get a room and stay here with me.
Know that your friend, Mr. Montfort, said that he was attacked by shadows.
I don't know what you're talking about. Please, I'm becoming very upset. I've had enough for today, please.
Of course. We're not, our intention here is not to upset you, of course. We'll be extremely cautious of cats when we leave.
Yes. Thank you. Do that. And he gets up and starts to walk back towards the building.
We're going to see Miss Lewis. Is there anything that we should say to her for you?
Just tell her hello. She's a very nice lady. All right, and he goes back inside. But while that's going on, Felix.
Meanwhile.
And Felix, you've gone in alone?
All by myself.
Okay. You've walked in on the pretense, perhaps, of talking to Mirror Man. And you get to Wayne's room, it's empty, except for all of those cats that are staring at you rather disconcertingly from every angle of the room.
All right, I'm going to go over to all of his stuff. I'm just going to start going through his stuff.
Well, the first thing that you notice is that his stuff is extremely neat. Everything has its place. Everything is perfectly aligned, and all of his little letters are tied up with little ribbons, and they're perfectly stacked. And
I take the whole stack. I don't care about his fancy, straight neatness. I'm going through everything he has.
Okay.
And I really don't care to put it back fancy or straight.
All right.
And I don't care if he knows I've been there. I'm going through his stuff to find out what he's all about. I want to know what's going on and where the opal is.
Well, one stack of letters in particular is a light lavender shade, and it smells like, what did I say before, roses?
It smells like
it
in
smells
my
like
pocket.
flowers. Yeah, okay. And you are ultimately aware that it will be noticed that his stuff is missing. Yeah. You don't care. That's fine.
No, I'm going through it.
All right.
Also, I want to check under his mattress to see if there's anything he's slid under there.
Nothing.
Under his pillow?
No.
Foot of his bed? Anything?
It's like everything is where it should be.
Okay.
So, yeah, nothing is unneat.
Is there any coat hanging on the back of the wall? Any kind of light sweater for cool days by the lake?
Yes, in the
all
wardrobe.
of the pockets. I want all his pockets.
Okay. There's nothing in them.
All right. Time to get the heck out of the room. Once I've been through everything,
okay,
I've checked and poked, prodded, and fondled everything that he owns.
Okay.
Then I'm going to leave the room before he gets there.
All right. It takes you literally 5 minutes. And we'll just, for the drama of it, we'll say that as you are walking down the hall, you see him come through a door and then head that way down the hall towards his room. And you can see out the windows, you can see Reginald and Cyrus walking back towards the front of the hospital.
Yeah, I'm headed to the car, like
okay,
straight to the car, as beelined as possible without being so obvious that I just rifled this guy's items.
Okay. Jane, you're out in the front. You've been sort of poking around the front of the hospital, looking for cats. There are none.
Well, at some point when I make a trip back inside to check out the lobby, I'm going to inquire about Professor Punchin and his state of affairs.
Mr. Punchin has been moved to another facility, farther out in the country, someplace that's far quieter and more private than this relatively noisy hospital. His nerves, he is extremely delicate. Everything seems to upset him. But they've given him security because they know that there was an assassination attempt on his life. There has not been one since.
Would it be possible to be able to contact him in case if he did?
They tell you the facility that he's transferred to.
Okay.
It's maybe 30 miles from here.
Thank you.
Okay. You all gather back at the car.
Everybody go ahead and get in. We kind of need to go.
Success then?
Yep. Success.
All right. Let's head south toward Croydon.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Do you want me to drive while you look through your loot?
No, actually, you guys can look through it.
All right.
I hand it back to Reginald.
The
whole stack.
Isn't that? Oh my!
All right. So you start going through it, and a great deal of it is correspondence from fans and people who like his stuff and well-wishers and so forth. But the purple ones are all from Mrs. Lewis. And the most significant one that you find looks like this.
It was given to me after all.
Yeah.
From Edith Lewis, 47 Hermitage Road, Upper Norwood, Croydon, 14th February, that's Valentine's Day, 1926. My dearest Lewis, I hope this letter finds you in robust health and improved spirits. Your last letter to me had a note of despair that I found deeply distressing. You are stronger and safer than you credit, and I'm sure that the cat you saw on the grounds was perfectly friendly. Even if this is not the case, Mr. Mountford has made wonderful progress on the project we discussed, and I should soon be able to offer you the protection you so desire. Stay strong for both of us, and I promise that your mind will be your own again soon. That dreadful churchman is up to his old tricks again. It is bad enough that he refers to my beloved London Abyssinians as mongrels, but he has called for another vote of no confidence in my stewardship of the association. The man is impertinent and power-mad. He will not be happy until all of feline society in Croydon bows down before him. But enough of my complaints. It is so gloomy of me when you have far more pressing issues to worry about. Once I have fully fathomed the mysteries of the eye, I shall visit you again and will release you from your terrible bondage. Always yours, Edith. Well, that's troubling, isn't it?
Why do I keep seeing a pattern of upper class people meddling in things that they don't understand?
Because you haven't been amongst the lower class doing the same thing.
I'm sure.
Felix, you
much
said something
worse.
and we only got half of a word.
Nope, that was all of it. Ha!
Well, if there's nothing else of importance, we could just bind them all up and have Sykes mail them back to the hospital with no return address.
Yes, we'll go through it. This is telling, though. It seems as though Edith wasn't merely Edith. I shouldn't be so informal. This Ms. Lewis is not an innocent figure in the events that we're discussing. I think that she is aware that the opal is powerful and is using it to her own benefit.
Well,
But for what? What benefit? I mean, what benefit does a magical opal have to deal with cat breeding?
I should be remarkably surprised if we find this Mr. Church intact.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that he took the opal from her. I don't know how he would have known that she had it. She's experimenting with it with some intention.
She's a cat breeder. The opal has possible power from Bast. Maybe she thinks it can help with this new breed, but yeah.
And she seems to be genuine in thinking that it could help Mr. Wayne with his cat anxiety by affecting their behavior, controlling their behavior, summoning something, perhaps.
What's interesting is that she's been clumsily playing around with the opal, and the Brotherhood of Tranquility hasn't paid her a visit yet. I mean, they seem to know exactly what we had when we had it. You would think that they would have known that she had the gem.
They're right about half the time, I would say.
They're not omnipresent.
If we are going to Mr. Church's, we're going to need to make a crow stop.
I think we might visit Ms. Lewis before we visit Mr. Church.
Felix, let that ambulance pass us already.
I
You've
was
been
wondering if we were
blocking
being
it.
pulled over.
You keep blocking it. Just let it go around
All
us.
right.
It's gone.
Yeah, so
While you gentlemen were talking with Mr. Wayne and dealing with his effects, I took it upon myself to check out how Professor Punchin was faring, and I found out that he was moved recently under guard to a facility in the country.
might be better for him there. Maybe he'll get some rest, but
Yes, but I'm rather worried because he is not in a centralized location. Does he not still have a well something that is being sought after?
yeah, and I think it'll be with him till he dies. So
Yeah.
if
Well, let
he
us hope there's
dies,
that case and his death is not anytime soon.
yep, because that puts another piece in someone else's hands.
Hmm.
This is all going to hell in a handbasket.
This keeps getting more interesting.
My understanding was if he died, it would transfer to somebody else.
Correct. But
I mean, what makes us think that it would transfer to somebody in the know? It could transfer to some totally random person, and then we'd have to go out and find that person in a city full of people.
I think it wants to be read. It wants to be used. So it's not going to end up halfway around the world. It's going to end up close to somebody who could use it. And who wants to use it now, or the enemy? I mean, it's all speculation, but
Speculation is all we got.
Again, the question before us is, do we visit, immediate question before us, is do we visit Mr. Church before we Ms. Lewis, or the other way around?
Miss Lewis first, I think.
but if she is in the know and she has power, we might need to use a binding spell on her, like we did with the other spirits. I'd rather go in fully cocked than with our pants down.
Yeah, but we could go in there
Oh,
and
my.
tell her about Montfort being attacked by shadows.
She
Then
used them. She could probably care less.
I was under assumption she was friends with Montfort.
Yes, partnered on some level. She describes them as,
But
working together.
but I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The Catman was saying that
Wayne.
she did not like him actually.
Oh, did Wayne say that she wasn't interested in his
I'm
suit?
pretty sure she said something like that. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Didn't Wayne say that she wasn't too fond of him?
She who?
Ms. Lewis is not
She's sent.
reciprocal.
She's no. That's Montfort. Mr. Munford is in love with Mrs. Lewis.
Right.
The
The
guy in the
question,
hospital that got
Mrs.
stabbed.
Lewis is sending scented purple letters to Wayne.
Correct. But the gentleman who got cut was also after her affection, but
Montfort.
she
Right.
didn't really want it. So my assumption is she sent him to get the opal, not caring what would happen to him. So if we go and tell her, oh, he's in the hospital, we're giving her the location so she can go and end his life.
well, she sent flowers.
As
She
a guy,
rushed off
knows
as
what
soon
it
as she
is.
found out.
all right.
Yeah, she doesn't dislike Mountford. She might be attached to Mr. Wayne, but she's not trying to hurt Mountford. She's trying to hurt Church.
For some reason, I was under the assumption that she was. All right.
The question is whether she hurt Mountford accidentally while trying to hurt Church, I think.
Right. Okay.
I do wonder if how church is connected. Perhaps since church is of high society, there is a connection with Mr. Delgado too that we might look into.
There is that, there is Luis Delgado somewhere in
He
the
seems
mix.
to be Mr. Delgado seems to have a hand in things, and if these people are messing around with what is supposed to be a dangerous magical artifact, then wouldn't you think that Mr. Delgado would be catching wind of it?
Well,
By
as you
the,
say, the brethren didn't either.
by the way, we need to be checking in with the museum and seeing what became of that. Because if we could hear sounds of, we'll say, excavation, that must mean that they were awfully close to breaking through.
Yes, I should think their project was rather far along.
Where am I
Oh.
driving to?
Croydon.
Ah, got it.
It's a question of when we get to Croydon, whether you go to see Mr. Church or Ms. Lewis first.
Right.
I'd like to see if Mr. Church is still alive, personally. I have my suspicions.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
When just a quick question. I remember you saying, talking about how he was sliced across his stomach when you were telling us every detail about when you were in and went and saw Mumford. And did you say there was several cuts across his? There were several slices across his abdomen to spill his guts out?
Yeah, there was at least 2 of those creatures, he said. Why don't we visit the woman, see what her story is? I'm sure she has Church's number because they're both in the society, and then call him after we see her. Before, it'll probably just ring, but
Felix, you were saying?
Oh. So it was as if a claw. Could it have been a claw that went across them and ripped him open?
You know, we saw the injuries at the steps of the museum. It was not one person with a scalpel. It was a nasty, slicing, gashing business.
Yeah,
It could
it
have been
definitely could have
multiple
been.
claws.
A clawed. Okay. Just
A
check.
big claw. All right.
Which is an argument for visiting her first, since we don't think that there are ghost warrior lions in her apartment or flat or house or whatever it is.
You know, if she does have the opal, we should probably think about how we're going to handle that. With 5 of us, we could just play the heavy and take it if need be.
Well, I mean, it's stolen property as well.
And she's not going to give it up, so we need to be prepared to play, the heavy and take it.
Was it not mentioned that Mr. Church had acquired the opal? Or am I...
Well, what we were told was that he had it, but we don't know that. The letter suggests that she was using it for nefarious purposes. And there wasn't a subsequent letter that said it had been taken.
The letter that you read also is from weeks ago.
Right, February. But I mean, how would this Church fellow have got, he wouldn't, I don't know how he knew she had it or how he would have broken in. Like, I suspect that she still has it, but I'm not sure.
I'm rather curious to know how she knows anything about potentially using the thing.
Well, Cyrus said that even Mr. Wayne knows about its provenance and some idea of its potential.
Perhaps.
As a ritual object. So what do we think? Is it Edith Lewis that we visit or Mr. Church?
Edith,
First.
I don't want to go to where there's lion-headed ghost warriors without the proper...
Without growing up.
Right. So
All right.
Edith,
You're driving to Croydon. Sorry. All right, I'll just say it. Felix, as he's driving the car and you're coming into Croydon, Felix suddenly notices something. at a street corner, and he puts on the brakes and points out the window at a newspaper stand. It's the afternoon edition that's come out, and there is a big headline that says, it says, Persian terrorists apprehended. And I mean, it's like a big freaking headline.
I'll jump out of the car, throw the guy a couple pence, grab 3 newspapers, and jump back in the car.
All right. That's what you find, Jason.
I'm blind. I need glasses. Sorry.
Oh, here, I'll look at it while I'm sitting here parked. Hey, Persian terrorists apprehended. A large group of subversive foreign terrorists were thwarted in their schemes to steal priceless treasures from the British Museum yesterday by an intrepid security guard during the small hours of the morning. I see whoever wrote this loves long sentences. This group, calling themselves the Children of Tranquility, had, for many months, been infiltrating the abandoned underground rail station in the vicinity of the museum. They had been excavating a large area directly beneath the museum and were in the final process of breaking into the sub-basement when Mr. Jacob Blanchard, the evening head of security, noticed strange noises coming from the basement. I lay down and placed my ear against the floor and could hear pounding and Araby music. Naturally, I alerted the police, said Mr. Blanchard. The responding police were met with violence at the abandoned station. The Persians seemed to prefer knives to guns. Nevertheless, 3 officers were seriously wounded. Most of the terrorists died in the ensuing battle. The rest were locked up and interrogated. A number of priceless artifacts that had previously been reported missing were recovered from their base of operations. How they came into possession of these artifacts is yet to be determined.
Well, shit. That means they've got the statue. That's back into play now.
Everything but the horn. And that lazy sack of shit Blanchard lied. I was the one who lay down on that dusty floor. Araby music. Preposterous. So that means that the temple is nearly complete except for the horn and the opal.
What about the seal?
We still don't know about the bloody seal, it's true.
Yes.
But it's, we're halfway there. Damn. I certainly hope that I don't start having those dreams again.
All right. So you're in Croydon. It's a nice neighborhood. And Jane points out the Lewis house.
Right over there.
Nice place. 3 stories, Victorian. I don't know what period, Victorian maybe. Gardens around it. And without a spot hidden, there are a number of cats. There's a cat on the little fence. There's a cat on the porch. There's a cat on the 2nd story windowsill. There's a cat out by a tree in the garden. There might be more you can't see. There's a lot of places where cats could hide.
Well, I would say she's got the opal.
Jane, how were you received again?
I spoke with the.
Oh, you spoke with staff. You didn't see her.
Staff, yes.
That's right.
I spoke with the staff and left them my card. And I've been waiting to see if they had contacted me. And well, since it's not been very long, I haven't heard anything from them.
No, it hasn't been very long at all.
Yes.
We've seen Montford. I wonder if that's a suitable explanation. Or we could just show her this the current edition of the paper and tell her that the stolen materials are. Oh, I don't see where that goes. It's a pity. Oh, well, here's a thought. Do we show her some of her letters to Mr. Wayne? Or is that tipping our hand too early?
That might be tipping our hand too early.
Are the cats watching us?
Not yet. It's hard to tell. Cats,
Look around.
and then they ignore you, and that's when they're really paying attention.
Tail flick. Well, Felix, let's see. Let's park around the corner and plan our approach. I certainly think it's best if she doesn't know that we're all a group. At first. Or is it?
Cats around her house. If there are eyes for whoever holds that opal, she's going to know we're together already.
It's true, the cat from the hospital could have reported the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we barge in then?
Yeah, let's barge in. The hell with it. You know, you walk up to these houses, they're full of cats. The whole place reeks. Let's just do this. Let's get in there.
Didn't reek while I was there, but
It smells like cat. There's two things I don't like the smell of. Number one is a cat. Number two is a cop.
Cat litter was introduced in 1947. Before that, all cats were outdoor cats. As it happens. I just had a flash from the future. Forgive me. All right, so we're going in as a group. I have no objection.
All right. So you all get out of the car and you start to walk up to the house. As you do that, some of the cats do respond by hopping off walls or coming around from bushes and sort of heading in your direction in a friendly, sort of, cat-like manner.
We should have brought fish.
Should have brought cayenne pepper.
How exactly are they coming?
Like cats that are curious. Some of them are indifferent to you. Some of them want to be petted. Some of them just see new people and they're
Are there
curious.
any standoffish ones who are really giving us that look almost unnaturally focused on?
Yeah. There's cats like that.
Yeah.
You see, there's quite a few of them.
were there these many cats outside when I visited with Fuller?
It was later. You didn't really pay that close attention, but maybe. I mean, you didn't see them.
Okay. I'm kind of holding to the back there, just.
In fact, now that you think about it, you didn't see any cats.
I'm going to go on up and knock on the door.
Okay. Oh, you knock on the door, and after a few moments, a woman answers, who's obviously a maid. She's dressed in a maid's uniform. Rather plump woman, looks like she's maybe in her mid-50s. And she's like, yes, may I help you?
Yes, we're here to see Miss Lewis.
Oh, do you have an appointment?
We do. Actually, we have, I believe Mr. Harcourt made an appointment with her.
I'm sorry.
We're here to speak of the cats. We are prospective cat fanciers.
Oh, well, yes, please, come inside and wait here in the parlor, and I'll go fetch the mistress.
Excellent. Come on, you guys. And girl, or lady, Jane. Jesus.
And she goes up the stairs, and after a few moments, an older woman.
Name.
What's that?
He had to use my name.
Oh. A woman who obviously is Mrs. Lewis comes down the stairs. She looks like she's almost 60 years old. She's very well dressed, very elegant looking woman. She comes down the stairs and she's like, oh yes, Are you with the Cat Fanciers Association? My name is Edith Lewis. You said, Martha here said that you were interested in the cats.
Prospective fanciers of the felines, yes.
So you've heard of the London Abyssinian that I've been trying to push forward. Please come inside.
Oh, excellent. Yes, I'd love to discuss. I hear that it's got a wonderful. There's something with the ticking. That,
Well, yes, the normal ticking that you find in the Abyssinian is missing, and let me find one of them.
Do you still get the shimmer? The shimmer when
No,
they
it's
walk?
not. It's quite missing, but the hairstyle is still the same. Let me show you.
Fantastic.
And she finds one of her Abyssinians, and she brings it in. It still has the long, luxurious fur, but it's all a uniform sort of brownish color.
Cyrus, would you look at this? No ticking, but yet luxurious in fur, both length and lushness.
Now I have all of the paperwork to prove the lineage.
Right.
Which branch are you from? Are you from the?
We're from the lower east western branch.
Oh,
We're actually new. We're a charter.
And they've sent you over to take a look at the cats. Well, let me get the paperwork, and I'll let you see this.
That'd be great. Thank you. A beautiful cat.
Martha, please get them tea. Is tea?
Thank you, Martha.
And the good news is, if they do put it up to a vote, we can also vote yes. I think our votes will count.
Well, just make sure that you see. We've had some difficulty with some of the other members, and she has this look of disgust on her face. And she says, "But yes, please look at this. Allow me to go upstairs and get all of my paperwork, and give me just a moment."
Excellent.
Everybody
Martha,
do
you
us.
need help in the kitchen?
Oh no, sir. No, thank you.
All right. Just
do a psychology roll.
8. Oh my God! I think I just passed my first psychology ever.
8.
I failed.
I did. I only got to the 10, but I passed. That's a check mark.
Well, let's say that Felix, when you offered to help her in the kitchen, Martha, you notice that she has a worried sort of look on her face. You discussing the cats, your cat people here to talk to Mrs. Lewis, who's a cat person. There's something bothering Martha. But she's being a servant. She's doing what she's told, and she's not hesitating at all. But there's something going on there. Martha's.
Now, Miss Lewis has gone upstairs at this point, right?
Right, and Martha's gone into the kitchen. So you're alone in the room.
I want to go into the kitchen with Martha.
All right.
Not in an aggressive way, just more of a.
Well, when you come through the door, she's like, "Oh, sir, you shouldn't be in here. This is. I'm just making the tea. I'll bring it out to you in just a moment."
Martha, you seem like something's bothering you.
Oh no, sir, nothing at all. No, nothing, sir.
Speak freely, Martha. Come. We're all naked in the eyes of the Lord.
No, sir. No, thank you. Please, I'll bring the tea out to you in just a moment. Do you all want biscuits?
Hold on one second. You guys want biscuits?
I'll bring biscuits, please. And she sort of ushers you out of the kitchen.
Oh, now Martha, come on now. All right, I'm going. Could I attempt to charm Martha to try to get anything out, or maybe even
My guess is that you might be able to get information out of her, but not right at this moment. She's seems scared. Now, you're treating a servant in a way that she's not used to, and she would be scared because her mistress has given her rules.
Now,
so, as a result,
in the kitchen, there wasn't.
Oh yeah, there's a cat in the kitchen.
Ah.
And when she comes out, you can tell that Martha's got a little bit of a shake in her hands because you completely unnerved her, but she's trying very hard not to let you know that. And she gives you all tea and cookies, and then makes herself scarce as Mrs. Lewis comes back down with all of her paperwork. Well, you can see here that, and I'm just going to say that she starts talking about cats, going on about cats, and the question has arisen about the male that was part of the breed, and the female is well documented. And
The objection that's been raised, to my understanding, is from this fellow, I believe his name is Church.
Philip Church, that vile man. All he wants is power, and he's trying to. It's nothing. He's self-important. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Is he attempting a breed of his own, and that's why?
No, he's simply
competition?
opposed. He says that there's not enough documentation. As you can see, there's plenty of documentation, and he's a terrible man, just a very terrible person, and he's tearing our entire society apart here in Croydon Sutton.
Have you spoken to him yourself of late? Does he know your
I
objection?
wouldn't speak to that vile man. I assure you, there'd be no reason for you to speak to him. He is, or if you speak to him, you'll see that he's just a vile. I'm sorry. The situation has been going on for months, and it's quite upsetting.
Pardon me, Mom. You've mentioned that he is rather, I mean, quite obviously he's rather vile. What has he done that has been so vile?
He's opposed me on every count. I've been the director. He's had votes of no confidence. I'm sorry. You know, you could speak to Sir Desmond at the headquarters of the Croydon Sutton thing. He'll tell you all about it.
Oh yes, Sir Desmond. Yes.
Anyways,
We haven't had a chance to discuss things with him recently.
Well, let's get back to the cat.
Yes, quite.
And she goes over insane details about. I mean, they're not insane, but she's extremely serious about what she thinks that she has accomplished in breeding this new type of cat. And that's all she wants to really talk about, because that's why you're here.
Yes, and I'm whispering to Felix, like, how do we move to the Opal from here? I mean, you got us in the door. That was pretty good, but how do we get to the Opal?
Yeah. Well, Miss Lewis, do you have any cat paraphernalia? You know,
There's cat paraphernalia all over.
No, like, do you have any cat collectibles?
Well, there's not really. They don't have collectibles yet. However, you have. I'll just say that you have noticed. There's cat things everywhere. There's cat statuary. There are some Egyptian bast statues here and there, and there are a number of Wayne's paintings on the wall as well. Not copies, but originals.
Miss Lewis, your collection is absolutely stunning.
Oh, yes. Mr. Wayne is a very close friend of mine. Wonderful man.
Not only that, but are those Egyptian?
Oh, well, they're not genuine. They're reproductions. But yes, the goddess Bastet. And she stands up and looks at her and says, you know, the ancient Egyptians, they had a great reverence for cats. Bast was the protector of all cats, and she was a benevolent goddess who watched over Egypt. And I myself, if I'm going to worship any god or goddess that there is, I think Bast is a worthy one. I do love cats.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to actually just to even lay eyes on an actual artifact from that time period.
No.
These are reproductions, but it would just strike my feline fancy.
Well, you know, there's quite a lot of beautiful artifacts at the British Museum. I'm sure you've seen them. But no, this is what I have.
What's that? What's that, Reginald? Reginald reminded me of we once heard tale of an opal. It was a cat's eye opal.
Oh, you're talking about the Eye of Lamatsu from the British Museum that was stolen a number of months ago.
Odd.
Yes, terrible loss. And you can see that she becomes quite agitated.
Well, you know, a lot of these things, we just read in the paper coming over that many of the artifacts were returned to the museum. They found a group trying to tunnel in from beneath.
Really?
Yeah, it was just in the paper on the way over. I saw the headline from the car, slammed on the brakes, and I said, Cyrus, jump out there and get a few copies of that.
That's
And
a
he
rather
did.
amazing story.
Well, it's not just a story. It's in the newspaper. It's got to be true.
Yes, indeed. Well, I do have an appointment later this evening. If you've seen sufficiently the documentation,
You know, and I kind of talk over her. I'm like, it's weird with people tunneling into museums, other people getting hurt and hospitalized. Like, wasn't somebody just hospitalized? Felix, right? What don't we know somebody?
No, there's Montfort.
Mr. Montfort.
you know Mr. Munford.
Yeah, that's his name, Mr. Mumford.
How do you know Mr. Munford?
Oddest thing, he introduced himself to us when we were at the British Museum, having just noticed that there was someone tunneling under it to steal artifacts.
And how did he introduce himself to you? That was quite extraordinary, wasn't it?
It was remarkable because it just so happens that he knows a mutual friend, Mr. Wayne, and he was looking for him because he had been grievously injured by what it turns out he calls shadow lion warriors.
Who are you people?
Friends of
Felix
Mr. Wayne.
Friends
Yes.
of Wayne.
Cyrus Finley.
Reginald Harcourt.
I think you should leave.
No.
I think you should tell us what you've done with the opal before someone else is gravely injured.
She stands up. She says,
I stand up.
I would like you to leave or I'll call the police.
Call them.
You won't get to the phone. And I take my gun out.
Jesus.
Sit the fuck down, lady, and tell us what's going on here.
Also, if you call the constables, the fact that you're in possession of stolen property from the British Museum is not going to benefit you.
We've already talked to Scotland Yard, so when they get here, they can take you in handcuffs so we could talk and then leave your
All right,
place.
before you can finish saying all of that, you notice that all of the cats have suddenly become very attentive. And in fact, other cats are coming in the doors. They're coming through the windows. They're coming down the stairs. And she's like, I don't think so. You can leave now.
I point it right at her. You'll be the first to drop. If the cat attacks me, you're dying. If the cat goes at me, I'm pulling the trigger.
All right. Well, the cats are going at you.
I'm going to aim for her shoulder.
10 cats leap at you all at the same time.
Oh, that escalated
Go ahead and do
quickly.
a shot roll. I mean,
52 out of 70.
Where the hell's Martha in all this?
she's in the kitchen.
I'm going in the kitchen in there before this gets any worse.
Gun
Hello, a
goes.
person that's controlling cats and said she worships bats is not.
Gun goes off. You hit her. Do a damage roll.
3 + 2 is 5.
All right.
To be clear,
you hit her and she falls to the ground. Cats are suddenly swarming in. everywhere.
To be clear, this is not what I meant by going heavy.
Doesn't matter at this point.
She could have called the
Cyrus.
cats off.
Cyrus.
Ready for the door.
Cyrus. You are suddenly swarmed by cats. They're all over you. Everyone else in the room, leaving or not, or trying to run or not, you are also being tripped by cats and knocked to the floor. Cyrus, the cats are fucking tearing you apart. And I would like you to do a dodge roll. I'm going to have you do a dodge roll with a penalty dice.
All right. First one is 19. Second one is 89.
Okay. You are tripped over. You fall backwards over a bunch of cats, and you've hit the ground. The rest of you can see Cyrus is struggling violently, and the cats are ripping with their claws. They're biting him. Everything else. Miss Lewis calls out in pain and starts crawling towards the stairs.
Want to run right past her and up those stairs.
Oh, I thought you were going to the kitchen where Martha
I was
was.
until I looked over and saw her crawling towards those
All right.
stairs.
Yeah, I want to go upstairs also, kicking at cats as I go.
So you guys are going up the stairs. I would like both of you to do spot hidden rolls.
I'll try to pull Cyrus out.
11 on 73. That's extreme.
22 is a hard as well.
All right. You're going up the stairs, and as you're looking around, two things strike you as they suddenly sort of, they're not, it's almost insane, but you are seeing cats literally coming through the walls. They're just as if they're walking through a doorway. They're appearing out of nowhere and coming through the walls. And as you get towards the top of the stairs, there are at least two cats up there that seem to be composed out of light. They're like neon cats. They look like Wayne's pictures with crackling energy around them. And one of them says, "You're not going anywhere."
Talking cat.
What's that?
Did you hear that, Felix? Did you hear that?
I heard the cat.
You heard
talk
that,
to me.
Felix?
You guys can do sanity rolls. Cyrus, you can do a sanity roll, and you've taken 4 points of damage so far.
Jane, help me
And-
get him out.
I'm helping get him away from the cats.
Fuller and Jane, if you try that, you are immediately attacked by cats as well.
Get off!
What I'd give for a spray bottle of water right now.
Did I just hear Jane downstairs say, "Get off"?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great tactic, Jane. I'm sure they're listening.
You can, Jane, you can try throwing them off by doing a dodge roll.
Standard success.
All right. You managed to throw a few of them off. Do a luck roll.
Nope. Not
All right.
lucky.
In the process of throwing them off, you injure a few of them, at which point they all turn at you as well. You are now the enemy. Fuller, do a dodge roll if you're trying to not be scratched. You're muted.
I'm muted.
Well, couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. No, I was checking my decks. I made it just barely.
Okay, do a luck roll.
Made that just barely.
Okay, you're managing to crawl away from the cats, but you're not dragging Cyrus with you. Cyrus is yelling out in horrible agony, and there's blood everywhere as they're tearing into him.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, are these like supernatural cats? Because here's my questioning. I know that cats can hurt the shit out of you with their claws, but killing you, that I don't think the claws are going to go deep enough to kill. So do these look like they're doing more than a normal cat would do?
It's not doing it as quickly. It's a horrible, slow, agonizing, terrifying. They've torn down through the clothes to the skin. He's bleeding.
Man.
They're ripping flesh from his arms and legs.
Oh, man.
He's kicking and screaming. Ever read The Cats of Uther?
Jane, I'm about to do something really stupid.
Felix and Reginald, you're at the top of the stairs. There are lightning cats, glowing lightning cats, talking at you, and they say, "You've hurt our mistress. You're going to pay."
Is one of you the opal?
It doesn't respond. But
They
you can
both
see,
speak?
well, one speaking, but you are seeing more cats phasing in, right? As
By
if
the power of Lamatsu, I command you to let us pass.
yeah, they ignore you. You can tell too that they're getting ready to pounce on the two of you at the top of the stairs. There's enough of them up there.
Right. Stairs, cats, perfect combination. Might as well put some Lego bricks around. I'm gonna shoot the one that spoke.
Okay.
Are they guarding a door? Are they
No,
just
they happen to be suddenly at the top. They just happen to be suddenly at the top of the stairs. Reginald, you're going to shoot right into the sparkly one in front of you?
Yep. I rolled a 17 for 30 on my handgun.
Okay. You fire literally point blank. The muzzle of your gun is literally 2 feet from the cat. And the bullet hits the wood of the structure and splinters and flies like this. And the lightning cat is completely unaffected, though you know that bullet went right through the lightning cat.
Of all the things it could have been, deep ones, gods of all kinds, and we're going to die by cats. All right. I'm going to pull out my Luger, and I'm going to go over to the woman and put it to her temple and say, back off.
You'll never get there. They will swarm you the second you even start walking towards Mrs. Lewis. They're helping her get away. And they are, at this point, you're pretty sure that they are going to kill you all.
Yeah.
If I'm dying with cats, I'm taking out my flask, I'm pouring it on myself, and I'm lighting myself on fucking fire. I'm not letting 40 cats eat my corpse. I'm burning this fucker to the ground.
Gonna try and grab him before he does that, if it's possible.
Felix, did Wayne say something that would help? You saw what happened when I shot. All Wayne said, right, is that they're all together and we're fucked.
Whether it's electricity, it's in your mind. It's
in your mind.
But will
tap,
they
tap,
shock?
tap.
Will they? The 3 taps. Do you hear it scratching inside your head? Tap, tap, tap.
I want you to all do luck rolls.
Ooh,
100.
8.
6.
7.
What did you get, Felix?
42. That passed.
Okay.
I got 53 luck. I got a 42.
But Fuller and Reginald got hard?
I got
Yeah,
8.
extreme.
You got extreme.
I don't know if it'd be. Yeah, it would be extreme.
All right.
I didn't know Luck had that, but
I got 100.
Yeah.
As if things weren't already bad.
Yep.
you are Meow Mix.
I think after a few more moments of this, Cyrus stops making any noise, although he's twitching. And there's blood. Cats are now coated in blood that are on top of Cyrus. Fuller, I think that you managed to get to the door, and with a few cats in pursuit, you managed to get to the car. Okay, but you're very injured. You've got scratches all over you. Reginald,
That's okay. I was ugly anyway.
tell me what you do, Reginald, because you're all the way on top of the stairs. Your bullet had no effect whatsoever on Lightning Cat.
Yeah. My instinct is that the opal's up here somewhere, and if I can get a hold of the opal, I can stop this from happening. So if the lightning cat, which is like the size of a normal cat or a little bigger but made out of light,
It's
if
bigger.
it hasn't, if the bullet passed through it, maybe I can too, and get down the hallway, a hallway.
The layout up here is there one door, two door?
It's a fairly small hall with a thing going up. There are doors. There's doors going to the kitchen, to the basement, to the outside, and there's places you can run. What was your role, Felix? You passed?
Oh yeah, I passed.
Okay.
153.
I'm just going to say, Felix, you dive into the kitchen. Martha is in terror. She's shaking. She's sitting up on the counter. She's not being attacked, but it's like she's realized that the things that she's been seeing are all coming true around her, that her mistress is talking to cats, and that cats are made out of light and energy. And the cats are kind of ignoring you. I mean, they're sort of watching you, but you haven't done anything physically yet to attack them.
Right. So so I can see Martha, and Martha can see me, and there's no doubt that.
And she's screaming, "What's happening?"
Martha, I need that opal. I know she has it. You go to every inch of this house. There's a jewel. It's about this big. It looks like a cat's eye. It's an opal.
She had it. It was stolen from her by Mr. Church.
And you swear there's no way it could be in this house any longer.
No, she just starts.
Is there any other thing that she's brought into this house that gave her control over all these cats?
She just becomes hysterical. I don't know. She's crying.
All right, Martha, it's time for you to leave the house. You got to get out of here because these cats are losing their cat brains.
And Felix, are you going to go out with her or help her?
Help Martha?
Yeah.
I'm going to help Martha out of the house. If there's a door from the kitchen outside, I'd like to.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, we're going to. Come on.
But are you going out?
Yeah, I'll go out with Martha.
All right. You can see that there are cats coming out of the area. There's strays from all over the city that are running in this direction. And passing you and Martha up and going right into the house.
I'm going to take Martha to the car. Get her in the car, close the door, and lock it.
Okay, you see Fuller struggling to get to the car. He's bleeding, and there are a few cats that are still trying to scratch at him. Jane, what was your role?
Oh, got an extreme.
But
Okay.
I didn't attack the cat.
That's 7.
Yeah, but you threw off the cat and injured it. I'm gonna say do another dodge.
Extreme.
All right. You manage to throw some of them off. You manage to, you see you see Felix go into the kitchen. You manage to dive in after him, after he's gone out the back door. And you're sort of struggling to get past, but there are cats still attacking your legs. And you can feel them literally digging their claws in and ripping your flesh, and eating, but you're trying to crawl, and they've turned around and turned their attention back into the house. Cyrus, at this point, you're not much more than a bloody skeleton.
I wasn't able to get the flask out and just dump it.
Yeah, no, you're gone. Reginald, I forget, what were you going to do? You got a good roll, but
I was going to go through the lightning cat and look for the bedroom where I believe the opal to be.
All right. So you do that, and you find that it's almost like there's nothing there. You feel an electrical shock, but it's somewhat mild. It's almost as if the cat was a ghost or a projection of some sort. But the other cats are not. The cats that are appearing out of the walls. You go into the first room that you find, which is in fact a bedroom. And I want you to do a spot hidden.
18. That's a swell roll.
All right.
So only a hard then, not extreme.
As you stumble in, you can see that cats are coming through the window of the room. And you immediately go to close the window. And when you look out the window, it's not Croydon at all. You're looking into a little village that looks like it's out of medieval times. And it's twilight outside, like almost dark. And it's filled with cats everywhere. And there's a mountain range and there's forests all around. It's not Croydon out the window at all. Do another sanity roll.
Sanity check. I passed my previous one, by the way. Did I take anything?
Yeah, 1d4.
Okay. And I passed this as well, not less remarkably, with 48.
Take another 1d4. This is insane.
Yeah, this is.
By the way, Felix Fuller and Jane, you can all do sanity rolls. Jane, you're taking one with a penalty dice.
Do I have any? The cat's outside in the twilight. They're streaming toward the house.
Yeah.
Can I see the house? Like, I'm looking at the window. Is like that.
If you look out the window and sort of lean, the house on the outside is not the house on the inside. It's like you're in it's another world you're looking into, obviously.
No impression that it would be better if I went out.
Tom, did I take any sand?
Yeah, you would take sand, for sure.
How much?
Oh, 1d4.
Okay.
I got 40 on the penalty there. Oh, I passed.
Okay. All right. You guys see Jane crawling towards the car. The cats have more or less left her now, but her legs are in bad condition. She's got scratches right down to the bone. She's bleeding profusely.
First aid.
You're going to get out of the car and go help her?
Yeah, I'm not going to let her.
Yet. I thought we had rolled him up and locked him, and he was on the outside of the
No,
car.
I got to the car before you did.
It's my
He got
car.
there before you did.
It's my fucking car.
He still got there before you did. He went out the front door to the car. You had him all around the back.
Roll him up and lock him.
So did I lose any sanity in this? Or?
Yeah. What did you said you passed? 1d4.
Yeah. 1d4.
I'll go help Jane. I can't let another one of our people die.
All right.
As soon as he gets out, I lock the door behind him.
Okay.
Me and Martha are just, she's breathing heavy. I'm trying to calm her. I'm breathing heavy. She's trying to calm me.
In Mrs. Lewis's bedroom, or
Mhm.
whatever bedroom I've found, outside
Right.
of which is another sphere, is there a shrine to Bast?
There is not, but there are Basque statues all over the place, and more Wayne paintings, and
And the cats are coming through the Wayne paintings, and there's no opal that's obvious.
correct.
Nothing's glowing.
Nothing. Well, occasionally you see glowing cats.
And the cats are hostile to me, but not.
They're
You know,
not.
I haven't injured anything.
No, but you did try to shoot one in the head.
I did. One of the
So,
gods.
I think that you are in a position where you can either go out the window or you can try to go back down the stairs, but there's a feeding frenzy going on right outside the door down the stairs.
Yeah, I had the rational feeling that maybe I would be happier out there in the twilight.
All right.
So let's if I can flip around and try to hang on so that I have some control drop.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
Just
Bye.
we'll call it a dex roll. This if you injure yourself.
60. I rolled a 97, so.
No, you fall from the window and you land on a couple of cats. And a lot of the cats that are around you suddenly turn in your direction. And I'd say you're swarmed.
Okay. I can try to shoot myself first.
You can. I don't think you need to roll for that.
No, that's true.
All right, bang. So you're.
I say goodnight to the alien constellations. Uh-huh.
This is probably going to cost me big time, but after I get done with Jane, I'm going to try to go give her first aid.
I'm
Hopefully-
sorry. Who?
What's her name? Miss Lewis. Try to
You're
give her
gonna
first aid.
try to go back in the house.
Maybe they'll see that I'm not attacking, that I'm trying to help her. I'm hoping.
Do a luck roll.
If they attack me, then I'll run back out. But I'm trying to keep her from dying. I made it. Not high, but I did make it.
All right. I'm going to say that as you get up to the front end of the house, it's taken as a hostile move, and they immediately turn and start leaping up and attacking you, though not
Fuck
as
that
aggressively.
bitch. Fuck that bitch. I'm gone.
By the time you get back to the car, there are a number of other cats that have jumped up onto the top of the car, and they're on the hood of the car, and they're on the trunk of the car.
I crank the car.
All right. So Fuller and Jane and Felix, you take off, and Martha, you take off into the city. You can all do sand rolls. Reginald and
Now, are they holding on to the running boards or on the outside? Because I didn't open that door. There's too many damn cats.
The soft top. I'll go through it.
Fuller opened the door to get out, and
I
oh,
locked
did you?
it behind him.
Oh, well, you didn't let them back in.
And opening the doors, cats all over the place and biting the shit out of everybody.
Well, we have to deal with that then. Are they locked out of the car, and you're not going to let them in?
Can they shake the? Can you get in without letting cats in?
They can do a luck roll, see if one or two cats gets in with them.
Well, actually, I was going back in the house, so Jane would have already got in the car before all the cats got on the top of it. It would be
Jane's
me
in.
that would have the problem.
All right, Fuller. Don't get no cats in here.
What, luck roll?
Yeah.
I also need to ask you, you said make sanity rolls. Is this in addition to the sanity I already lost?
I think, well, don't worry about it at this point. Just
I made it. It's a good luck roll. It's a 24.
All right. So you managed to get inside without letting any cats in.
Good. Roll it up. Luck. Let's go.
And off you go. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight. Holy crap.
That went that escalated quickly.
Our players included David Gasaway, John Byram, Ford Fitch, Jason Melnichuk, and Jerry Bryant, with myself as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a rich listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to support our show, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.